up, everyone? Jason Gilbo here with Justin Elick, taking a look at pitching for tonight's 9-game slate. Overall, not appealing names, but I mean, we do have at least have a couple strikeout upside guys.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple guys in decent spots. I mean, this doesn't seem like a slate that's super exciting for cash games. Definitely one that's more GPP for me. With so many bad pitchers, there's a lot of hitters in really good spots, and I think it's going to be a pretty high scoring game. And I think it could be one of those nights where you don't really have to have, the top scoring pitcher to be able to do well tonight.
No, I don't think so either. Breaking the first one here, Chicago, New York, Jordan Montgomery versus Derek Holland. Two lefties here. I mean, I can see some appeal here in both these guys in GPPs.
Yeah. See, I played Jordan Montgomery last time in his debut. I mean, it was a day slate. I think there was only 3 or 4 games, and then there was a Coors game too. I mean, he did well, 7 strikeouts, 4 2/3, but kind of had a pretty short leash. If I remember right, I think he only threw 90 pitches or something like that, and they pulled him. I think he had 2 or 3 runners on when they pulled him too. So the strikeout upside certainly there. I don't think this is the spot where I'll be playing him because there are other guys that I like more, but I definitely still like Holland. I mean, he's crazy cheap on DK. This is a guy that years ago was supposed to be a good pitcher and is at times looked like it. I mean, walked 4 guys last time out, didn't give up a hit till I think the 6th inning against the Indians. And I mean, that's no easy lineup to navigate through there. So the Yankees are one of those teams that they don't really concern me even when they're at home. I mean, you've got pretty much the opposite of everything. You got no Gary Sanchez, you got aging guys like Ellsbury and Gardner. And then on the other end, you got Greg Bird, who's not playing well at all. Then you got Aaron Judge, who's pretty much home run or bust. I mean, it's just not that good of a lineup.
No, I mean, I look at it here. Matt Holliday's questionable for tonight's game. That would take another right-handed bat out. Chris Carter would be in there. I mean, he's a high strikeout rate guy. Yeah, I'm with you. I don't think this lineup is really that threatening, even though Vegas has him close to 5 runs tonight. I'm not necessarily buying that. So I think Holland is a good GPP play because we've seen Holland be, good at times in Texas, kind of like what you saw, but we've also seen the blow up. So, I mean, there is risk, but I don't mind them.
Yeah, I mean, his price, he's 57 on FanDuel, or on DraftKings, 68 on FanDuel. You can get any hitter you want. So I think he's the guy that if I'm stacking up hitters, that's probably the guy I'll roll with.
Pirates Cardinals next here, Ivan Nova versus Lance Lynn. Ivan Nova guy for me, probably not in this spot. I mean, at times he can be a serviceable SP2 on DK, but that's about it.
Yeah, I mean, this game I honestly think probably on both sides is just kind of an avoid for me. I think both these pitchers, super average. Lance Lynn doesn't really have any upside. Nova, like you said, doesn't really have any upside either. I mean, both guys pitch to contact. I mean, if you're looking at their strikeout rates, obviously through just 2 starts each this year, Nova is walking 3.75 batter or striking out 3.75 batters per 9 innings. Lance Lynn 6.97. I mean, 3% swing strike rate so far for Ivan Nova. I mean, there's 0 strikeout upside with these guys, and I think you just have to have upside tonight on this slate. So I'm avoiding both sides here.
I kind of like Lynn. I mean, he's 6,900 on FanDuel. I mean, DraftKings 6,800. I think he carries a little bit of safety from like guys like Holland, but I mean the strikeout upside really not there. And I just look at this Pirates lineup. I mean, really, Gregory Polanco, I mean, has been scratched the last few games. Who knows if he's in the lineup? And really, all you're looking at is Marte and McCutchen. Like, I don't worry about him, guys like Josh Bell or David Freese or Cervelli or Harrison Mercer. I mean, and gets the pitcher as well. Plus, being at home, I mean, I think a quality start could be here, but I mean, as far as upside goes, it's not exciting.
Yeah, I mean, I could see him being, your SP2 on DK if you just wanted to kind of lock in, your 15 to 20 points somewhere in there. Because I don't think he gets rocked by any means, but, I think, I don't know. For me, I just like to target the strikeout guys more, but definitely a cash game angle. It makes sense. Like, yeah. He's probably one of the safer bets.
Padres Braves. Jared Weaver versus Jaime Garcia. No.
Look, I got these stats that you pointed out. Obviously, we were talking about how Jared Weaver, I wouldn't even say pitching above his means. I mean, the guy sucks. And I hate to use such a just barbaric adjective, but he's just so bad. I mean, listen to these numbers so far. So far through 11 innings pitched, he has a FIP of 7.48, which for him is actually not that ridiculous. It was 5.62 last year, 35% hard hit rate, 93.8% left on base. His BABIP is 133 He's allowing 3.27 home runs per nine. So don't be the guy that looks and sees that he didn't suck in cores and thinks that he won't get killed tonight. I mean, the only thing going for him is the fact that Atlanta really has like one hitter with big upside, and that's it. I mean, it's Freddie Freeman, and then who knows? Maybe Ender Inciarte is going to keep taking whoever Melky Cabrera gave him and keep hitting homers. But outside of that, I mean, I want to stack him so bad, and I know you want to. Also, I just don't know if I can play anybody outside of Freeman.
Yeah, I was gonna say you said the one power hitter that they have, and I was gonna ask that's Inciarte. It's definitely not Freeman. It's Inciarte this year. So, I mean, I think that ballpark plays a little bit more neutral this year to hitters, which it looks, and I kind of like that. But yeah, definitely a no for Weaver. And I don't even think Garcia is worth a look even against the Padres. I actually kind of like some Padres bats.
Yeah, I actually do too. I mean, I'm not a Garcia fan, really. I mean, he has those random games where he has that big upside, and I'm completely fine with not being there for it because he's just a very average pitcher. As we saw, he got just smashed last time out. So, those young guys, Margot, even Jankowski, because he's got some stolen base upside, Renfroe. Like, I'm really fine with any of those guys on that side because I think on this slate, people aren't going to be going out of their way to pick on Garcia. So I think you get some low ownership there.
Yeah, I mean, Myers, Solarte, I mean, they got some pop from the right side too.
Yeah, Myers just murders lefties and never gets any credit for it.
Brewers Cubs next, John Lackey versus Chase Anderson. We'll start with Chase Anderson here. We're talking a little bit about him before the show. A guy who's reverse splits, does better against lefties than against righties. He's had some decent numbers against the Cubs. I still don't think he's usable.
No, I mean, he's still an average pitcher at best. I mean, last year, walked over 3 batters per 9, barely struck out 7 per 9, swing strike rate of 8%. I mean, his hard hit rate was 36.6%. This year, obviously, through 2 starts, those numbers look a little bit better. But, I mean, it's not like this is just, a young guy that's just now getting going and he's just now getting his opportunity. We don't really know what to expect. I mean, he's been around since he made his debut in 2014. So, I mean, the guy, he just hasn't been a good pitcher. He's a guy that can go out and get you a quality start sometimes, but he doesn't have upside. Like you said, those reverse splits, most of the better hitters for the Cubs are from the left side. But, I mean, guys like Chris Bryant, I mean, he's got to be up there as one of the best hitters, or one of the best plays on the slate, I think.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the Cubs. I mean, obviously they haven't started out well. They are striking out a ton, but yeah, I mean, Anderson, if this was like a 5-game slate, sure, maybe you could toss him a GPP, but not tonight.
Yeah, no, I don't think this is the spot for him. And I still think we're gonna, with these guys kind of pitching above their talent level, like how Anderson is so far this year. I think you'll see people see, oh, well, this is a trend. 2 good games in a row, and I'm more than willing to be wrong on the fact that I still don't think he's any good.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there. On the other side, I mean, Lackey's expensive, but I mean, there's a guy with some upside, and all of a sudden, I mean, it's kind of say hard all of a sudden because he's been like the last year and a half an actual reasonable strikeout pitcher.
Yeah, it's kind of weird to say, at his age now that all of a sudden he's getting strikeouts. But like you mentioned last year, swing strike rate, 11.5%. I mean, so far this year, he's doing even more the same, 12.8% so far. Striking out time. He's walking more guys than you'd like so far through 2 starts. But, I mean, as far as safe options tonight, he's got to be your number one guy. I mean, 17 strikeouts first 2 games. And, I mean, in spots that weren't great spots, St. Louis, obviously a team that even when they're not doing well, they usually don't strike out a ton. The Dodgers strike out a lot against lefties, but not so much against righties. He had 10 strikeouts there. So you don't like the 5 walks over 12 innings. But, I mean, you like the fact that I won't say he's a lock, but he's looking really good for that quality start here tonight. And with that sudden strikeout upside, it's hard not to think about him as your cash game guy.
Yeah, I mean, because even if he gives up a few runs, I mean, like the Dodgers game where, it was kind of rough in the early goings, but all of a sudden he figured it out. And look at this Brewers team. I mean, a near 27% strikeout rate so far against right-handers. I mean, Villar is probably like 4 or 5 strikeouts tonight on his own. I mean, dude's striking out like a 40-50% rate right now.
Yeah, I mean, this team, they still have some good hitters, but, I mean, even this year, you look at their strikeout rate, 26.7% as a team. I mean, they got a ton of power, 224 ISO as a team, but their on-base percentage is under 300. I mean, they're swinging for the fences literally every single time, and Lackey doesn't give up a lot of home runs.
No, and he was much better at home last year. I mean, allowed under a 270 WOBA. So, I mean, I think Lackey comes in for me is pretty much a number one tonight. And he's very close with guys like, Ray and Salazar.
Yeah, definitely.
Houston, Los Angeles, Charlie Morton versus Jesse Chavez. Jesse Chavez is not a guy that I'll use.
No, not today or any other time ever, because he's just not good. Even when he had that little streak, what was it, 2 years ago, where he pitched well there for a couple months. I mean, I still just could not bring myself to play him. He's just, I don't know. He's a guy that's just doesn't really have much upside. He's pitches to contact. He doesn't pitch deep into games. I mean, there's just a whole lot to not like about him in this spot. I mean, yeah. I don't think it's a spot. I don't really like targeting anyone against Houston. I mean, they just have so much power, so many young guys that can hurt you. And, Chavez, if you look at his numbers, I mean, he was just about the epitome of average last year, except he gave up a ton of homers, 1.61 per 9. So not the spot.
No, not for me either. I mean, and Charlie Morton on the other side, I don't like him for tonight's sleep, but I don't think he's actually going to be in a bad spot. Like, I'm not picking on Angels guys against him because, I mean, if you look, his majority of his struggles in his career have come against lefties, and there's two, Cole Calhoun and Danny Espinosa. I mean, yeah. I think for the most part, Morton's actually going to be kind of a quality arm tonight, but probably not a guy with a ton of upside because the Angels don't strike out a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I do like Charlie Morton. I think he's fine as an SP2 here tonight, really, because I think he's going to be a good spot to get the win. I think quality start probably on FanDuel, and like I said, I'm not a believer that all of a sudden he's just some elite pitcher, but I do think he's an above-average pitcher. He keeps the ball on the ground. Like you said, his struggles have been with lefties. So I think that Charlie Morton's, as weird as it is to say, a fairly safe option, but I don't think I'd be playing him as my only pitcher on FanDuel tonight.
No, I don't think so. Definitely more of a DK play at his price if you do want to go that route.
Yeah.
Indians and Twins, Kyle Gibson versus Danny Salazar. Kyle Gibson, we can get this one out of the way. No thanks.
Nope. He ground ball pitcher. That's about it. It's not a spot for him against, a team that literally top to bottom has pretty much above average hitters at just about every position. Yeah.
Danny Salazar on the other side, you wrote him kind of borderline cash, and I kind of feel the same way. It's just like I feel a little bit uneasy about using him tonight.
Yeah, he's one of those guys that, you never feel okay about playing him because, you mentioned his numbers against the Twins, which are absolutely horrible. They're 30 for 95 off him with 18 extra base hits, 29 strikeouts to 11 walks. They're batting over 300 against him. OPS over 1,000. I mean, those numbers are a little bit scary, and that's a decent sample size. But, I mean, if you're talking just pure raw strikeout upside, I mean, I think Salazar really Lackey and Ray, I guess, kind of close. But I think Salazar, I mean, enormous strikeout upside. I mean, this year so far, the 16.4% swinging strike rate. Obviously, 20 strikeouts and 11 innings pitched. He's not going to maintain that. I mean, no one does. But that strikeout upside certainly is there. The concern is that he's walking too many guys, and the Twins are walking a lot this year. So it might only take one mistake for him. And then, you see a guy like that, you play him in cash, you're going to see probably 2 to 3 innings where he struggles, throws 25 pitches, and you're worried about him even going deep enough to get the quality start or get the win. And I don't know, the floor isn't great, but the strikeout floor is.
Yeah, I mean, you basically summed it all up for me. I mean, you look at the Twins, they are walking a lot more this year, which is kind of surprising to see. And the strikeout rate is down, still at an average rate, but still down from previous years. And you look at Salazar, I mean, do you have his walk rate for this season alone?
Yeah, I've got it. One sec. It's 4.63 per 9.
Okay. Yeah, so I mean, 11% walk rate going back to last year. I mean, that's my one concern always, but this is definitely a guy, I mean, even if he gives up 2 to 3 runs, which you like, he can back you up with, 9 strikeouts, 10 strikeouts.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, you play him for the strikeout floor and upside, and you hope that he finds a strike zone. Because honestly, I mean, he's got great stuff. It almost just seems like when he gets in trouble, he tries too hard to hit the corners and fool everybody. And he needs to just, try to beat him. Just come at him. And that drives me nuts about Salazar. He's not as aggressive as I'd like sometimes.
Yeah. Texas and Oakland next year, AJ Griffin versus Darrell Cotton. Cotton coming off an excellent start. They're at home. My biggest thing is I wish he was cheaper.
Yeah, especially on DK. I mean, 8,200. I don't mind him at all. 7,000. I mean, I wrote him up as kind of my last option today. Texas, I feel like, is more of a perceived tough matchup, especially in this huge park shift going to Oakland from Arlington, which obviously weather's already pretty warm. It's just a good hitter's park, but Oakland, one of the better pitcher spots, and Cotton's a guy that's supposed to be and really has been. In his last start, finally showed that kind of upside. I mean, last year in 97 innings in the minors, 11 strikeouts per nine. I mean, walked a little more batters than you'd like, almost 3 per nine. Home runs per nine was 1.15. That's not good, but that wasn't really a concern for him so much in the years before. Obviously, mostly in the minors. Last year, small sample size, didn't have a huge strikeout rate, did allow more than a home run per 9 innings, but he doesn't give up much hard contact. And, in this spot against a Texas team that they swing a lot. I mean, they swing for the fences, and we know that even just the area out of play in Oakland, I mean, it just instantly gives you a much better floor for your pitchers. So I think he's an interesting deep option tonight.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, his changeup is absolutely filthy. I mean,
Yeah.
You look at Pedro Martinez, he said this guy's very close to how I pitched, and I don't know. I think Pedro Martinez is pretty damn good. So
yeah, that's a ringing endorsement if you're ever going to get one.
So I mean, Cotton, yeah, kind of a late bloomer, but I mean, he's got a lot to kind of go on his side, and I think the park factor definitely helps. Because you do look at Texas. I mean, I think they averaged about a run and a half more at home last year than they did on the road. Much more average offense on the road. So, I don't even think all the lefties in the lineup that I'm not particularly worried about because Cotton's pretty decent.
Yeah, and plus you got to like the fact that he's pitching opposite AJ Griffin, who maybe some people are a believer in him. I think he's awful. I mean, he gives up a ton of home runs. I don't think even that park is safe for him. So, I mean, I think that Cotton's in a really good spot to get the win here as well, and really just needs to get through 6 innings. And I mean, Vegas agrees. I mean, he's minus 140 favorite, which isn't huge, but he's as far as tonight's slate, relatively, that's a pretty decent sized favorite, especially on FanDuel at his price.
Yeah, and I mean, the dude sucks for his lefties. I mean, he's absolutely awful. Yeah. And you look, not that Matt Joyce is off to a great start, but that's a dude with some power. Obviously Stephen Vogt, Yonder Alonso, these guys aren't notable names, but when Griffin's that bad against lefties, they become notable names.
I'd be fine with Chris Davis just hitting from the left side of the plate tonight, and I think he still might take him deep. He's got like 9 homer upside in this one.
Arizona, Los Angeles, Robbie Ray, Brandon McCarthy. Dodgers lineup taking a little bit of a knock here against Southpaws because Logan Forsythe questionable for tonight's game. Franklin Gutierrez already out. Still a couple guys you got to worry about, but I mean, Ray's actually in a decent spot and was actually really solid on the road last year.
Yeah. I mean, he's one of those guys that I really want to love him because he's got a lot of good things going for him, but he's got a lot of things that scare me also. Always just kind of giving up a lot of hard contact, 36.6% last year, but 11 strikeouts per 9. Gave up too many homers, gave up too many base runners, walked too many guys. But, even you see it once again this year. I mean, obviously, enormously small sample size. So 51% hard contact rate, obviously not going to maintain, but he's walking 6 batters per 9 almost so far. So, it does worry me, that floor. But as far as upside, I mean, the Dodgers are a team that I like to target with lefties, and I don't like to target with righties, of course. So, like you mentioned, if Forsythe's out and Gutierrez both out, what you got? Scott Van Slyke is the guy you're worried about for the most part. I mean, Jock Peterson doesn't hit lefties well. A lot of these lefties don't hit lefties very well.
No, I mean, you look at Yasiel Puig's coming around. That's probably one of the only bats I'll worry about. Justin Turner, he always gets a bad rap against lefties, but he's not bad against lefties. It was just a normally low BABIP last year against Southpaws. I mean, still a crazy high hard ball rate. So those are probably the only 2 bats that I have any real concern with. I mean, outside of that, it's Kike Hernandez, as you said, Jock Peterson. Van Slyke didn't even start against the last lefty they faced, so who knows if he gets into the lineup.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that drives me nuts about the Dodgers is, I mean, they've got so many just outfitters. They just platoon in all the time, and obviously Klay Thompson's brother's not around to hit. I mean, he was decent against lefties, Trace Thompson, but obviously he's not even in the majors right now. So I just don't like playing them against lefties. Like you said, I'll throw Puig in every once in a while tonight just because I think people will be on Ray. But really, that's probably going to be it for me. I mean, Corey Seager is actually decent against lefties. His numbers didn't indicate it last year, but I think he's a decent hitter against lefties. So I'll probably throw him in a lineup or two because I think he'll be much lower owned than he should be.
Yeah. Brandon McCarthy on the other side, kind of an average right-hander, maybe slightly above average. I don't think this guy has bad stuff. I'm not really looking to use him, but I'm not looking to pick on him. Kind of just a watch for me.
Yeah, he's like the epitome of an SP2. I mean, he's the guy that's going to go out. He's never going to kill you. He's going to give you a quality start, but he doesn't really have strikeout upside. He doesn't have 8-9 inning upside because he's not particularly efficient. But, I mean, he just goes out, does his job, and that's it. So if you need a secondary pitcher, I think he's fine. But another one of those guys that he won't be my only pitcher on FanDuel.
No. Marlins Seattle, last one here. Tom Kohler versus Ariel Miranda. For me, the only thing good going for these two arms is basically the ballpark. Outside of that, I mean, I have no use for him.
No, I mean, Tom Kohler is not a guy that I ever play. I mean, he's horrible against lefties. This is a team that's got some pretty damn good lefties in there. I know, granted, they're not really off to good starts. Cano, not a horrible start, I guess. Seager really not playing well at all. Both guys still kind of priced up. Obviously, John Segura, a righty, but he's on the DL anyway. So I think for me, I'll probably throw in a couple of those little mini stacks. I'll throw in Cruz in there as well. But for me, I'm just not really excited about either side. Kohler's one of those guys that he can throw a quality start up there. Doesn't usually get killed, but not a pitcher that I think I've probably ever used aside from maybe, if you got like a 4-game day slate, you play him as your second guy.
Yeah. I mean, plus you got superstar Mitch Haniger, hitting second there off to a start.
At least he's over 2K finally.
Yeah,
so
yeah. Well done, fan.
Whatever you want, you get it. Yeah, thanks, guys. You're 2 weeks too late.
Yeah, I mean, Ariel Miranda, Marlins do have one of the lower totals, but he's just not a guy that I like to use either. I mean, he may go out and have a star where, it's respectable, but I'm still targeting it against him.
No, I mean, on this slate, there's plenty of guys that I actually do like. I'm not going to force a guy like him into my lineup.
No need. So let's go wrap things up here. You can head on over to DaveFantasyCafe.com, check out our great tools and content.